This is Zach Rohde at relationshipofyourdreams.com. Today's video, I am teaching women how to not scare a man away when expressing how she feels. If you like this video, please remember to like and subscribe. There's two ways for a woman to express her feelings. One way is going to make her man feel a lot more connected to her. And the other way is going to push him very, very far away. So it's really important that a woman learns to express her feelings in the right way. And I'm going to use a couple examples from my life to properly illustrate the difference. First example is a woman that I dated a little before I met my wife. And we had just slept together and we were just having a conversation, and she brought up, for some reason, the topic of being exclusive together. And I had thought that I had made it pretty clear that I had no intention of becoming exclusive with her. But she was very upset when I told her this. And she started crying. And she started telling me how sad she was and how upset she was. And when she told me this, I immediately felt repelled, and I wanted to distance myself from that situation. I just wanted to get out of there as quickly as I could. I wanted nothing to do with that. I wanted nothing to do with her feelings. Second example is more recently with my wife. When I went up to her, and I was actually working on this masculine feminine stuff, and I was telling her something that I needed from her, because it was something that I needed, and it triggered her and actually made her really upset. And before I knew it, she was expressing all these feelings that she had, of resentment that had built up over the years of our marriage that I didn't even know about. And she just started crying. She started crying and showed me how sad she was, telling me all the ways that she had felt really hurt by me. And unlike the first example, I felt so sad, when she told me this, and I felt so connected to her. And all I wanted to do was take that pain away from her. I didn't want her to hurt like that anymore. So completely different outcome, right? The first one, it pushed me far away, and I didn't talk to her ever again because I was just so turned off. I was actually repulsed. I didn't want to ever deal with that emotional situation again. And in the second one with my wife, I don't know, I don't think I've ever felt so connected to her. I just felt so let in by what she was feeling, and it was an amazing gift for me. And the difference, they were both crying. They were both telling me how they felt. They were both telling me how I hurt them, and yet they got completely different outcomes. And it wasn't because, I was in love with my wife and I didn't love this other woman. Obviously that is a factor, but that's definitely not the biggest factor, not even close. The main difference is that the first woman put a huge burden on me, and my wife gave me a gift, but they're both expressing their feelings. So what's the difference? Well, I'm going to explain that. So the first woman, what she was doing was she was actually, even though the words and the crying and everything was the same, energetically, she was reaching out for an outcome. She needed to be seen. She needed to be heard. She needed for me to change her mind in some way. She needed me to change my mind, and tell her, you know what, I am gonna be exclusive. I totally changed my mind. She needed all that from me, and I could feel it, right? And that energy is called neediness. when you are reaching for an outcome that way, and you're putting that pressure on another person to give you that outcome, that is called being needy. And whenever you're being needy in that way, whenever you're putting out that energy, you are putting a burden on another person. And I like to illustrate it this way. So let's say that that woman's feelings, she was showing me her heart, right? And she was showing me how she had all this baggage and like boulders, heavy boulders on top of her heart that were crushing her heart. And what she was saying is like, please help me get these boulders off. You need to take them off. Please get them off. I want them off. You need to get them off for me, right? Begging, she's pressuring me. Get the boulders off. And when you're pressuring somebody that way, when you need an outcome from them, you're projecting that needy energy so that you can be happy. What you're doing is you're putting a burden on them, and people don't want burdens. Okay? People do not want burdens. It does not matter if it's a man, doesn't matter if it's a woman. Nobody likes a burden like that placed on them. And when a person feels a burden like that, they are going to want to get away from that situation. And unfortunately, that woman probably thinks today that the reason I left that situation and then never wanted to talk to her again is because she shared her feelings. And she probably thinks like, oh, I should never share my feelings because whenever I do, it just scares men off. Men just can't handle my feelings. But that is not true. And there's so many women that have that same belief because they've had that same reaction from men over and over and over again. But that's not actually the case. Men don't want to be pressured into taking a whole bunch of boulders off of you. They don't want that pressure. And the reason I know it's not true is, a perfect example is with my wife, right? What she was doing, it's something similar, but it's very different at the same time. She was showing me her heart, just like the other woman. She was showing me that, there's all these boulders on top of her heart, all the ways that I hurt her. She's showing me how she is hurt with her tears, with her words. But there is no neediness from her. None. I sense nothing like that from her. She was not reaching for an outcome for me to change my behavior. She wasn't telling me energetically that I need to take that burden from her, that she wasn't pressuring me to take off those boulders. Instead, she was just showing me, here's my heart and here's all the boulders on it. And when you just show a person that without reaching for the outcome, when you're just expressing yourself as you are, you're just showing your heart, now it's just a huge gift, right? It's just a gift. You're just showing your man something. And because all she was doing was showing me, I was able to make the choice for myself because there was no pressure. I felt no pressure. I just felt like, oh, I want to give you a gift back, right? You showed me a gift of your heart. Now I want to reciprocate back by taking this pain away from you. This pain that, is partially caused by me, partially caused because, she wasn't communicating properly in the past, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's not about right or wrong at all. It's just, oh, this is your pain. And now that you've just showed me as a gift, I want to reciprocate with my gift and take away that pain. And that's what the masculine does, right? That is the feminine masculine interaction where a woman shows a man her heart by showing her feelings, and a man then uses his masculine in some way to make whatever problem go away, right? Whether like both emotionally so that she feels better emotionally, and by doing something, changing his actions in the future so that she doesn't feel badly again that way, if it's something appropriate for him to change. And so what's really going on is, both a woman has both masculine and feminine programming, And when she is expressing her feelings, when she's just bearing her heart to her man, she is expressing through her feminine. She's operating through her feminine. But when she has not properly integrated her masculine programming into her feminine operating system, what she will often do is she just hasn't developed inner boundaries for herself. And she just starts, um, it causes neediness, right? She just starts expressing all this neediness because she hasn't learned to take responsibility for that energy. She hasn't learned to take responsibility for her feelings. So she's always kind of looking for a rescuer energetically to relieve her burdens, right? And and that's why when a woman hasn't integrated her masculine, um, she's just going to be needy all the time. And she's going to push men away over and over and over again. Or it's going to make a man, depends on the man. Some men are going to kind of attack back, because men don't like burdens, and they're either going to withdraw from that burden, or they're just going to, criticize and like they're trying to not be burdened. That's what's happening. They just don't have, most men don't have the social skills, the communication skills, the emotional development to properly handle that kind of burden. But once a woman has integrated her masculine programming into her feminine operating system, when she's expressing her feelings, now she can fully express herself and just show her heart without reaching for that outcome. Now there is, the only intent that she has is just to express, right? She's not looking any further. She's not reaching out for any kind of outcome. She's not putting pressure on. It's just, here's my heart. This is a gift. You do whatever you want with it, right? She leaves it up to her man. My wife left it up to me. Could have taken her heart and thrown it in the garbage. I could have ignored it, or I could have given it as much love as possible and tried to make her feel better, which is what I did, because I was left the free choice to do it. Because when a woman pressures you, when she pressures a man through neediness to try to relieve her burden, now a man cannot reciprocate with a gift, because now he feels like a slave because he's being pressured to do it. And a slave can't give a gift because it's like his labor is owned by the woman in a way. That's not a good feeling. But when a woman could just give her feelings as a gift, now he doesn't feel like a slave. Now there's no pressure. Now he can give his gift back. So that changes everything. It's all energetics, and it's something that a woman can develop. If she has not integrated her masculine programming yet, when she is expressing through her feminine, that is something that she can learn how to do through practice, through expressing herself over and over again, and feeling that energy that she's putting out. Feeling when she's reaching out for an outcome versus just genuinely sharing a gift with her man. And the more she practices that and just practices gift giving instead of pressuring a man to take her burden, the better she's going to get at it. And she's going to integrate her masculine that way. And then once she's really good at it, she'll be a feminine woman with a fully integrated masculine program. And that is when a man becomes unbelievably attracted to a feminine woman. Everything changes. Instead of being pushed away all the time, she will just get, her man, if she's with a man, or men that she's dating, will just want to be around her. They'll want that energy because they love getting that feminine gift from her. Because now all they're receiving is her gifts, instead of receiving or being pressured to take her burdens. Completely different. Men are going to start to respond very, very well. And just to close this off, I do need to bring up this final point. Some men will not respond well to being given a gift, even in the way I described it. Even when there is no pressure whatsoever, There is no burden. It's just expressing a woman's heart. Some men are still going to respond badly. These are men who are quite damaged, like sociopaths, narcissists, psychopaths, just abusive men, men that really need a mother and can't hold a woman's feelings at all. Those are men that are not going to respond well. And so, as a woman, it's really important for you to understand and discern whether the problem is you and something that you can fix, or whether the problem is him, in which case he just needs to go. You need to find somebody else if you can. If you can, as like if in whatever way you can, it would be a good idea to get out of that situation, because that kind of man is not going to change. You can show him your heart over and over and over again, and he's still going to be neglectful or abusive, or both, right? He's just not going to receive that as a gift. It's always going to be a burden to him, even when you're expressing it as a gift. So make sure you can discern that. It might be you and it might be him. You can feel the difference in your energy when you put it off. And yeah, once you figure it out, once you know that if it's you that's the problem, then just work on it. You can practice as much as you can with your man. If it's him, you try to find someone else. I would highly recommend ending that relationship, because you're only going to open yourself up to abuse over and over and over again, and you can never really be happy in that kind of relationship. A proper relationship is based on reciprocal gift giving, right? And in this situation, a woman gives her gift of showing her heart, and a man gives his gift of taking care of her feelings. But a man needs to be able to receive it as a gift for that kind of gift giving. Otherwise, it'll never work. So good luck. Practice this. Really notice the difference in your energy. And if you're a woman who has been putting out that needy energy when you're expressing your feelings, you can experience a 180 difference in the way that men respond once you get this handled. Thanks for watching my video. If you're ready to take your relationship and dating skills to the next level, be sure to check out my website, relationshipofyourdreams.com, for more videos, articles, my coaching services, and much more.